So our last task for this project is hemming the skirt. So because this is just a practice skirt and I want to see where it falls on my figure, I'm only going to do a basic roll-up of the raw hem. Make it about 5/8 of an inch, pin that in place, and then just do a simple basting stitch to hold that together for me temporarily. So this is just about putting the hem in place. So don't feel like you need to be extremely straight. Just try and make sure that it's 5/8 of an inch, because that, according to the instructions, is the finished hem width. Alright, so here, where we have our self-facing, folded inward, we're only just going to fold that up 5/8 inches and tack that in place. Okay, so right now I've only got 3 pins, but I just wanted to demonstrate for you what you'll be doing with the rest of the skirt. And since that's going to take a bit of time, I'm just going to show you the beginning of this, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so I've now finished pinning my hem in place at 5/8 of an inch. So here you can see I haven't done anything special, since this is only a simple basting job, and I will be pulling apart once I'm done testing out the fit and the proportions of my wrap skirt. But you just take your time, because there's a lot of raw hem to go over. And over here along the side you have your self-facing that you just simply turn up 5/8 of an inch and pin in place. Don't worry about what the directions say at the moment, because we are avoiding a couple of those directions for the sake of pulling this skirt out and breaking it back down to its pattern pieces once we're finished. And over here is the other side of the skirt with the other self-facing, with a simple 5/8 of an inch turn up at the raw hem. Once I've pinned everything, I'm now going to go to my sewing machine and just base stitch this simple hem in place. Alright, so I'm at my machine. I'm making sure my thread tail is nice and long and it's laying behind my presser foot. I'm just going to place my project underneath my presser foot. Bring that down along with my needle. And since we're just hemming, we don't have to worry about the lining it up to our tape marker. We're just going to do a basic base stitch across our hem. So, this took a while and a bit of maneuvering, but this is our basic 5/8 inch hem for our wrap skirt. Don't worry about it being messy. We're just putting it up so that we can see where the skirt falls on the body and whether or not the length will work for what I am looking for in this skirt. So now that the sewing part of this practice skirt is finished, here comes the real test, the fit and the proportions. Okay, so we've come to the fitting of our practice skirt piece. Now, according to the instructions, we are supposed to take our hook and eye and sew them by hand at the small circles on our wrap skirt. So here you have one small So here you have one small circle here on the edge, and then you have the other small circle positioned right here. So according to the instructions, we are supposed to sew our hook and eyes at these two small circles. And once we hand sew those hook and eyes in place, we're supposed to wrap our skirt around, find where the hook and eyes are landing along our waistband, and then we sew the other piece in place right here. And that's how we put together our closure for this piece. However, since this is only a practice skirt and we're just testing the fit and proportions of our size, we won't be doing that. Instead, we're just going to use safety pins, and we're going to pin the waistband in place, just because we want to see what the skirt looks like. So I feel we won't need to do any of that hand sewing the hook and eye in there. We'll save that for the chosen fabric skirt. Alright, so now that I hopefully explained that as well as I could, I'll be trying this skirt on and show you how it looks. Alright, so I finally was able to put on the skirt. Here I have my safety pins pinned right at the spot, the small circles indicated on the inside of my waistband. So right here and right here is where I will be sewing the hook and eye closures on my chosen fabric. So, took it as for a spin, looked at it in the mirror, and I can say that I am, for the most part, satisfied with this specific pattern size. I can wear a top underneath as long as it's not thick. So that's nice because I wanted this skirt to be able to be worn around a tucked in top. So as long as the top I wear with this skirt is not thick, I'll be able to work with this specific pattern size. If sometime in the future I want to make a wrap skirt that will fit around a thicker top, like maybe a sweater, I'll go and make a specific custom pattern that will accommodate all of that. I also like the length of my skirt. It reaches right at my calf, which is just right for what I want to do here. I want since I'm doing skirt D, I'm looking for a longer skirt, but not too long, so I'm happy with the length as well. So, I am happy to say that this pattern size works for me, and it works for what I am looking for. And that's one of the important things to remember when you're sewing. You have to figure out what plan you have for this specific garment. Are you going to wear it by itself? Are you going to wear this skirt with the top tucked in? And how thick is the top going to be? Like if it's going to be a thin chiffon or a satin top, or is it going to be like more of a jersey knit top, or are you going to wear like a button-down shirt tucked in, or a sweater? Those are things you have to keep in mind when you start your project and figuring out what pattern size you may want, because depending on how thick the top is, you might want to go smaller, or you might go larger than your natural figure measurements. So, this particular case, I think this works, and I'm going to forge ahead with these pattern pieces, and make sure I remember to specify what this pattern size is made for. So, once you figured out whether the fit works or not, in this case everything works, I am now free to take out all of my base stitches, break down the skirt again into separate pattern pieces, and then use those specific pattern pieces to trace, copy, and cut out on my chosen fabric for the real skirt.